Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. My name is Vincent Imala from the Republic of Kenya, working for the Directorate of Resource Survey and Remote Sensing. I'm privileged today to make a presentation on behalf of DRSRS. DRSRS stands for Directorate of Resource Survey and Remote Sensing. It is actually from the Republic of Kenya, and I'll take you through its background. But before that, I'd like, first of all, just to mention one or two compliments that as a country, we are privileged to be here under the sponsorship of Supermap to attend this conference, which is hosted by the Geographical Information System Technology Innovation Center of the Ministry of Natural Resources of the People's Republic of China. And Kenya as a country, of course, we are delighted. We are collaborating with China on a number of programs. And this is not the first time that we are engaging with institutions from China. So we are indeed privileged and delighted to be part of this conference. The theme of this conference states that the geospatial intelligence driving quality development resonates very well with the Kenya's key sustainable development goals and the Vision 2030 agenda on environment and natural resources. And therefore, this gives us an opportunity for us to highlight some of the programs that we are undertaking through the support of Supermap, whom we started engaging with last year. And I wish to acknowledge and of course appreciate the efforts that have been made by Dr. Wang Yeto, Gordon Yu, Jeffrey, my friend, and also even Emma, who have visited the country on a number of occasions to see how we can work together. So allow me to make my presentation. First of all, I'll briefly talk about the country where I come from, and then I'll also introduce my department, stating the mandate, vision, and its mission, and then also I'll highlight the objectives of the department, and then quickly take you through the types of methods that we use in our data acquisition, our technical capacity, then collaboration with the Supermap. And then, of course, I'll also mention some of the programs that we are undertaking using remote sensing technology. So briefly, Kenya is a small country compared to China. It is located in the East African region and neighbors Ethiopia, Somalia, Tanzania, Uganda, and Southern Sudan. It has an area of about 582,000 square kilometers with a current population of 56 million, which is about 2% increment from 2023. This is a small population compared to China. So, however, I must say that actually this is one country that is strategically positioned and also plays as an interlink and as an entry point to the rest of the countries, as you can see, in the East African region. So the Directorate of Resource Survey and Remote Sensing was established in 1975, and this was as a response to answering environmental concerns that were raised in the 1972 Stockholm Conference, which created the United Nations Environmental Programme. This department was later fully elevated to a fully fledged department in 1984, owing to its expanded mandate, and it is domiciled at the Executive Office of the President under the Chief of Staff and Head of the Public Service. This is a department that is deploying modern remote sensing and GIS technology in management of natural resources and the environment. It is located at the heart of Nairobi, the capital in Kenya. Its mandate is collection, storage, analysis, updating, and dissemination of geospatial data and information on natural resources for timely and informed decision making. It's organized in a simple structure, having at the top the Secretary, who is the head of the institution, referred to as the Secretary Resource Survey and Remote Sensing. And under the Secretary, we have directors, 4 directors, handling the Remote Sensing Directorate, Ground Survey, Aerial Survey, and Geoinformation Services. And under that, we also have deputy directors. And then we have a number of other scientists, pilots, natural resource scientists, geoinformation specialists, photogrammetry, amongst others. So what are our objectives? First, number one is to develop an early warning system for food security and seasonal vegetation biomass production. And then number 2 is to establish an environmental information management system, what you refer to as EIMS, and then to promote the application of remote sensing technology in government. We are the official institution advising the government of Kenya on matters to do with remote sensing and EIS. And also to generate spatial data on livestock, wildlife, and the associated environmental attributes. And lastly, number 5 is to generate data on land use and land cover, including vegetation and forest. Briefly, these are some of the methods that we use in our data acquisition. We have the multi-stage sampling concept, where we are applying remote sensing technology, or using satellites. And then, of course, also applying vertical aerial photography. We have a number of aircrafts that are within our reach that we are using for aerial photography. Then also we do hyperspectral remote sensing. As you can see, some of the equipment that we have at the department. And then we have LiDAR technology. We have one of the latest LiDAR technology from Germany, from a company called IGI, that we are using to map our resources in the country. Then as far as aerial surveys are concerned, we do low and high level flights. So we count wildlife and livestock in the Kenya rangelands using light-wing aircrafts that we have in the department. Then under the ground survey section, this is just a normal collection of conventional data to beef up what we have. Some of the capacity that we have as an institution is we have a fully fledged GIS department that hosts a number of environmental and natural resource data for planning purposes. We have receiving stations that are enabling us to collect environmental data for planning. Then the telecommunication mast down there, and then we have enough server to accommodate our spatial data for storage. I'll quickly take you through the collaboration that we have with Supermap. I want to mention that Supermap just entered recently into the Kenyan market, and particularly addressing public institutions to leverage on their state-of-the-art technology, so that this is mainstreamed in the government institutions. And quickly, towards the end of last year, we were able to host a joint the 2023 Supermap GIS Innovation and Applications Workshop in Nairobi, where we invited over 100 institutions, like government institutions, to integrate and discuss on how we can apply geospatial solutions in their mapping and management of their resources. This was preceded by signing of a collaborative agreement with Supermap in November 2023. At the same time, we hosted the GIS 2023. And this in a bid to foster integration of GIS software solution in mapping of resources in Kenya. So DRSRS, of course, playing the vocal role of integrating the Supermap softwares in other ministries and departments in the country. There has also been a number of engagements with the government agencies. Of course, on the left, we have a technical support cadastral mapping by Survey of Kenya, where through DRSRS, of course, Supermap has installed trial licenses just to harness rapid cadastral map production. And then the far end, of course, we have had the digitalization of survey records to enhance service delivery. You can see most of the records are in hard copies. And of course, we intend to use Supermap high-tech technology to be able to see how we can rapidly digitalize cadastral mapping and survey record. Down there, of course, my colleague from Kenya has given a presentation where we have also engaged with the National Lands Commission in using GIS support tools to integrated land resource mapping and management. And then, of course, also leading in the Kenyan market. Of course, we are also trying to engage the Kenya Water Tower. Kenya Water Tower is the official agency coordinating the management of water resources, so forest resources in the country. And we have already also discussed with them how we can deploy Supermap GIS software solutions towards management of the water towers in the country. So these are just part of the initiative that we have done. But quickly allow me now to take you through the programs that we are undertaking as a directorate in Kenya. So one of the main programs that we are undertaking is on land use land cover mapping. We have a depository of a series of data ranging from 1990 up to 2018. Of course, we have a small gap there, but we are already working on how we can fill the data. But basically, this is useful in generating environmental planning and management that is important for greenhouse inventory activity and the Forhead Plus activities in the country. So there's a section in the department that is handling this program that also is supporting the government of Kenya in planning. Then there's the forest mapping and monitoring. As you are aware, Kenya Constitution sets a goal of achieving and maintaining a tree cover of 10%. And Kenya's Blueprint Vision 2030 has a vision of enhancing and maintaining the forest cover at 10% of the total land area. Of course, the Vision 2030 lists monitoring of water towers as a 2030 flagship project for the Director of Resource Survey and Remote Sensing. And so we take this project seriously. And this also towards supporting other ministries and departments in management of forest resources in the country. As you are aware, the Kenya government has rolled out an ambitious program on planting trees in the country, where His Excellency the President has directed that the country plants about 15 billion trees in the country by the year 2030, which is going to uplift the tree cover from 12% to 30% within the same year. And the DRSRS is, of course, supporting the government of Kenya through hosting what you call the JASA app, which is a multi-agency innovation that leverages on ICT to document, verify, and monitor the tree planting program in the country. And this is done through all the 47 counties in the country. And of course, we are deploying a modern remote sensing technology to do this. With the support of Supermap, we look forward to even engaging them so that we have rapid tools that can enable us to be able to analyze this data and disseminate in a timely manner. And this is the portal that we have developed as a directorate, which is able now to record the number of trees that are planted. As we are speaking, this is information that I've just obtained from the office. We have now planted 230 million trees. So we are on track to achieve the 15 billion trees by the year 2032. So this is an interface, it's a mobile app that you can use that link to even be able to check the current status. Of course, applying the remote sensing spatial distribution of the tree planting program. And this has enabled the Office of the President to be able to make decisions on which areas they can roll out the program and for planning purposes. I'd also like to mention something on urban mapping. The department is also undertaking this program within the directorate to be able to undertake urban mapping and zonation, land use zonation. This for the purpose of planning by each and every city in the country. And this data is hosted and, of course, updated on regular basis for planning purposes. Then there is also an ambitious program being spearheaded by the Office of the President, and that's on geospatial mapping of Nairobi River. This is a river that is traversing through the urban center, the capital city, and it is characterized by pollution due to industrial affluent and amongst others. And what the department is doing is that is using high-resolution satellite imagery to be able to map some of the illegal structures within specific riparian reserve. And this to enable the government to clean up along the riparian reserve in a bid to rehabilitate towards the greening of the city. And this is part of the initiative that is also contributing towards the smart city in the country. Then we're also supporting county governments, all the 47 counties, towards mapping their socio-economic and economic data. This is just one of the counties that we did, where we also undertake training of the local community so they can also be able to relay this information to the office, and then we develop some maps of them for the purpose of planning. So this is just for socio-economic field data collection, where we are using smartphones to collect data from the field. Another program that is being run by the directorate, I've already mentioned this, is on land use mapping. This is one of the cities in the country, Mombasa City, and most of you are aware of it. It's a coastal town. So we are aiming to have more information that will support spatial urban resource planning, development, and management in the country. I also want to mention one of the key programs that's being coordinated by the directorate, and this is a crop forecasting program. You are aware that each year the government of Kenya requires information on pre-harvest maize production. Maize is actually the main staple of food in the country, and therefore the department has developed a regression or a simulation model that is able to predict maize production and yield in the country. This was developed in 1984, which is still running. As you can see, we are able to generate, to be able to get the trend in area under maize, and also the production all the way from 1990 And this for the purpose of developing an early warning system for the country so as to address the food security in the country. We are addressing, classifying that in short rain, which is marked in brown, and then the green one is the long range maize production in the country. The food security, of course, in the country is a major issue, and so this data is useful to enable the government of Kenya plan adequately for food security in the country. I'd also like quickly to mention land degradation. Kenya is towards achieving land productivity and, of course, trying to rehabilitate most of the lands that are degraded. And so we are using land degradation index maps to be able to map all the 47 counties to see the trend in land degradation across the country. So this is also a part of the program that is being run by the Department of Resource and Remote Sensing in Kenya. Then there's also development of landslide risk mapping. Most of the counties in Kenya, of course, are prone to landslide. So this is just an initiative towards developing geohazard mapping for disaster risk reduction and response mechanisms in the country. I also want to mention, I'm almost done, I also want to mention a key program that has been running in the directorate since its inspection, and that's the livestock and wildlife assessment and monitoring in the country. And DRSRS has been conducting census of livestock and wildlife in arid and semi-arid since 1977. And this to obtain spatial data on animals and their distribution, which is actually done every 3 to 5 years in line with the national and district plans and district focus strategy for rural development of 1983. And the activities involve survey of livestock and wildlife in the Kenya rangelands, wildlife species composition, studies for specific habitats, of course, against the environmental attributes. And this aimed at, of course, supporting various other ministries like tourism and wildlife in the planning. So the methodology that we are applying in our census, animal census, is called the systematic reconnaissance flight method, which was developed by Norton Griffiths in 1978. It is still applicable, and we are using it. It's giving us good results. And so this is what we are using to provide information to the government of Kenya to plan for wildlife and livestock in the country. And some of the outputs from that exercise includes those distribution maps and the trend in livestock. As you can see, it's running all the way from 1970. We have a cap because of some challenges, but basically we are using aircrafts to undertake this, to develop that kind of information. So thank you very much for your patience. Thank you.
Thank you, Wilson. It's really